Welcome back to another episode of Fit Mommy Nation TV. Now, as we celebrate Father's Day in this month of June, I hope to share with you the amazing stories of active daddies in Singapore who embrace the lifestyle of healthy and fit fatherhood. Although moms have a lot on our plates with the multiple hats that we wear every day, we cannot discount the fact that our other halves have a huge role to play in this parenting journey and nurturing healthy and active families. So, this month is dedicated to the awesome daddies in Singapore. There's so much to share, to learn, and to be inspired by each of their stories. Today, I have the privilege of inviting Bronson on the show. Bronson is dad to a boy. He is a movement coach, a regional leader for Animal Flow in Singapore, and an ambassador with Lululemon. What I am most intrigued by Bronson is not the list of accolades that I have just said. His backstory is really interesting as he took on a non-conventional path to personal achievement before he became a father. From majoring in fine arts to helping his family in their wholesale vegetable business to overcoming a life-changing road accident before becoming a dad, which in itself is life-changing too. And as a movement coach, he has this inept ability to connect with his audience at their level of understanding. I actually threw him a surprise Hokkien 101 test segment during our chat to see how well he actually relates to the elderlies that he works with. So do listen out to that fun segment. One more fun fact about Bronson, he is a true blue Maristella boy, right? From preschool all the way to secondary school. So now it's time to get this old boy to share some gold nuggets so that I can get the Maris boy at home to listen in to as well. Let's get on with it. Hello. Welcome. Everybody say hello to Bronson. Thank you for spending time in between classes and popping in to have a chat with us to share your stories and experiences when it comes to health and giving us the daddy's perspective. This month we are celebrating Father's Day.
Yeah.
Month of June, right? Yeah. So I'm taking a break from chatting with mummies, and then I'm like, for a change, gonna start talking to some daddies.
That's nice.
Yeah. So
Thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, I mean, my pleasure. Bronson, maybe you can share briefly with all the ladies here, like, who you are and what you do. And so everybody knows, who they're listening to.
Yeah, I'm a fitness coach. My fitness is basically I look at every aspect of helping my clients in terms of strength, mobility, flexibility, basically cater to what they want. But my main interest currently is understanding movement patterns of my clients, like adjusting their posture, making sure we set the foundation right for their body. That's my fitness journey for now. I started a company called the Ford Personal Training, and I have it since 2017 until now. So the brief update is like that.
Brief update. Yeah, and right now you're looking at him sitting in his spanking new studio, which he just shared with me that he took time to build it last year from scratch.
Yeah. Not I built but I hired a construction company to do it. But the idea it's always been around for a few years, then finally got it done.
Yeah, exactly. It's so nice to have your own space to move around in. And tell us a little bit about your wife and your kid as well.
I'm married. I'm married to my wife, and we have a kid. We have a 7 years old, going 7 this year. 7, right? No, 6. Oh no, primary 1 is how old? I don't even.
He's still having baby brain.
7. No, 7 is primary 2, right?
No, he said he is 19.
2014.
2014, right?
Yeah,
2014,
5, 6,
7,
7,
yeah, P1,
7,
right?
yeah, P1, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
P1 is 7.
7.
So just tell
Okay.
everyone P1, then everybody know, okay, 7.
Yeah, P1. So he's primary 1 this year. So yeah, I have one child, one son.
secondary school?
Yeah, so during secondary school, I'd always have an interest in art. I mean, art has always been my life since I was very young. When I was young, my mom will always send me to like art drawing competition, so I have that interest. And it's always been a strength of mine. So after secondary school, I I didn't do very well in my O level actually. Didn't really study lah. So that was quite interesting year. So I decided to enroll myself to Nanyang Fine Arts because I thought that would be my interest. So I did diploma in fine arts, and after that I went to the army. After army, I came out and I did my degree in LaSalle, and then I went back to NAFA for my master's. Yeah, so that's
Mm.
a whole like educational journey.
It's interesting, right? Then you found that, hey, actually, this is the path that you're interested in because you actually went back and did masters again.
Yes, I did because I felt that if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just do it. And I changed school because I just wanted to experience like different cultures because the culture between Nanyang Fine Arts and Maristella is quite different, lah. Quite different.
Mm.
So I wanted to experience both, and I did. Good enough to meet a lot of good friends and in the arts scene, lah.
Mm.
So yeah, so my major was fine arts. Uh, pretty flexible, but yeah, boring sometimes. A lot of things to write,
Hey,
thesis,
wait,
all
wait,
this.
wait. I am not an arty-farty person. You gotta explain to me what does fine art mean.
Fine arts can mean anything actually. So like if you study interior, like now art schools they have interior, visual comm, that kind of more like graphic stuff, interior design, visual comm or graphics design or multimedia, that kind of thing. But fine arts is more broad. When you say fine arts, people always think like take oil and paint the canvas. Yes, we do that, but we also think of more of concepts and how to approach different art forms and how to look at it and how to basically be more versatile and experimental in a way lah. So yeah, so
Then,
and
then,
also
then
write
the
a lot of theses.
then the Picasso and the Van Gogh kind of art, is it under fine arts?
Yes, it is. It is, but it's just a small part of it. So we study art history, and then
Mm.
we find out what is the trend of the art culture throughout the centuries and the decades. Yeah, brief history is like that. Brief summaries like that.
I mean, so in a sense, it informs your decision on, which path you want to go on as well, which area of art you'll be interested in as well, right? To
Yes, in
pursue,
a
is
way,
it?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
in a way. So we are also very flexible, and I mean, in terms of just fine arts, it gives us a lot of free play. So we can do all kinds of art forms. We can paint, we can do like installation, we can even do multimedia and graphics. During my NAFA, halfway through my LaSalle studies for degree, I set up with two of my other schoolmates. We set up a sort of like an art collective group lah. So that's where we do like multimedia stuff, graphic stuff, or even uh, doing like events and stuff like that. Very similar to what you see in events company now, something like that, but more in the arty farty side.
Right. Do for
Yeah.
Esplanade shows and all that.
Yes, that also we try to also do for like corporations that need some design like a full package. So last time I think advertising film is always very major, but now you see like there's small like boutique style advertising film going around. So that was the
Yes.
concept we did that time lah.
Right. And
Yeah.
you were the trendsetter, man. Like y'all started it like way long ago.
No lah. Just it's something we all enjoy, so we did it, and then it kicked off pretty well. We got a few like collaboration
Mm.
projects and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's okay, not bad.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that was put together with like, a group of classmates or schoolmates who are interested.
schoolmates. Yeah,
Right.
schoolmates and a group of people who have the common interest lah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, number one, it's hard to find people who have a common interest to do things together.
Yeah,
Yeah. So that
for
was the
sure.
challenge as well. But then if you guys managed to pull it through at that age,
Yeah.
I think it's something really phenomenal, right? You really learn a lot from it.
Yeah, definitely. Learn a lot from. I mean, not just social aspect, but also like the business aspect of it. Sometimes you get cheated of your money. Sometimes you get cheated of your
You
experience. But
did. You did.
it's very common lah in the corporate world, I'm sure. But it's okay lah. It's okay. You learn from it. So I think it's an experience that we gain that help us move on in whatever we did, like especially for me, like at least for me. Yes, after my masters, I decided to take a break. Well, not really a break. I wanted to meet more people. That was my aim, to widen my circle of connections. Because I think it's important to do that. I felt that at that point of time, at my age, like I just don't want to be that angsty young adult, no. So I just went out there to. My aim was to try and meet new people, to have new perspective, and hopefully connections in some way. So I decided to. I always loved wakeboarding, so I started wakeboarding when I was in NAFA during my diploma. I was introduced to it, then I instantly got addicted, got hooked. So I've been wakeboarding on a very regular basis. I also competed in a few competitions and stuff like that. So um, after my masters, I just thought I wanted to work as a wakeboarding instructor, and I've got a very good friend who runs a wakeboarding school in the Raffles Marina called Max Out.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
called Max Out. It's still there now, so you guys can look for him if you want. So my friend is Ryan Lee. So I just worked for him for 2 years, and it was, I would say, it's very interesting 2 years because I met a lot of people from all over, all kinds of trade, all kinds of people, and got good connections until today. And most importantly, I gained a lot of experience lah.
Mm.
Like yeah, in terms of
Is-
also instructing people, because as an instructor, you got to take care of people, teach them how to wakeboard, take care of their safety, that kind of thing. So they've definitely built some life skills there.
Yeah, of
Hmm.
course. And then after that, you taught for a while as well.
Oh yeah. That was before that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I taught at my old high school for about 2 years or so. Yeah,
And
teach
then
art.
you also mentioned you help your parents with their business.
Yeah, that was after the wakeboarding instructor career. I So I decided that I wanted to go back to the family business to help out, and to see if I can make some changes. So I stayed there for, wow, that was quite long. I think about five years or 6 years. I stayed there
Mm.
for 5 to 6 years. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
Did you achieve what you wanted to?
yeah, for sure. Learn a lot of things, especially from my parents. Also kind of build a relationship with them, a better relationship because, last time I'm always away, out to work, but now I see them every day. So there's better interaction, and obviously there is disagreement, but, slowly we learn to accept things and be more flexible with each other, and look at each other's perspective. Lah. So it was good
Mm.
experience. Lah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just very interesting to me, the journey and the path that you choose to take. And then the motivation, of doing certain things and deciding what to do during your, we would say career, because I mean, anything after school is called your career path, lah, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever you decide to do. Yeah, but it's very interesting that you take such a, informed decision on, okay, I want to do it this way. I want to meet people, and then I go this on this path. Because most of us traditionally, especially our generation one, we will go the so-called the
Safe
traditional
path.
way, right? The safe path, right? That
Yeah.
would be me lah, huh? That would be me, okay? Going to school, going to uni, and then graduate in local, okay, find a job. That's
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, during that time, definitely people who don't know what I'm trying to do will label me as someone who is they call it a floater lah, just float around, But I did definitely have an aim, but it's just that my goals were a bit different from people. Because I believe in building relationship and finding good connections. Because I mean, through the experiences that I had in the art industry, in my wakeboarding career, I met so many different people. So now if my teeth spoil, I know a dentist friend. If my knee has some issue, I can go to a orthopedic doctor. I know a lawyer friend. I know a awesome friend that sells curry chicken rice
Yeah,
at Old
so
Airport Road. So
the best, yeah, the best one. It's very interesting because at that time, at when we were in our younger days, like you could see and see that as importance, which for me personally, I'll probably only see the importance like in the recent years.
well, I never
So
one when I was cycling along the coastal road at the airport road. And then
Yeah.
I do that every 2 or 3 times a week. And I was cycling towards the end of the road, and usually I'll make a U-turn. But unfortunately, like behind me, a truck driver fell asleep. I think he dozed off, so he kind of knocked me, and then I flew whatever. So I had a bad traffic accident that time. Um, all the internal, like there's internal damages and stuff. But I think one of the most thing that I think is life changing, I would consider it life changing, is I broke 3 parts of my spine, a spinal compression fracture. So it took me about, so I was lying flat at ICA. ICA is one level down from ICU.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. So ICA is where all the road accident people, but not dying yet, that's the department.
Ayo.
So yeah, I was there for 2 weeks. I couldn't move, and it was quite an experience because it was I never had um I never I never had this moment where I do not have control of myself. So it was quite bad because I always want to kind of like a problem solver. I think all
I
ladies
know.
will know this, like all men, we just want to solve problems sometimes. So I can't solve this problem, and it was quite an experience and challenge for me. So but it took me about a year to get back. Long story short, it took me about a year to get back, and when I got back, I was I was very in tune with trying to get myself back in shape, and so I decided to go through a brand new, like revamp my whole fitness journey. And I also had a personal trainer then, a very good friend of mine now. He's also my mentor, called Irvin from the Pit Singapore, and he helped me get back in shape in terms of getting strong and getting that strength back again, because I lost a lot of mass, a lot of body weight,
Yes,
a
yes.
lot of body
And
muscle
muscle
mass.
mass. Mm.
Yeah. So when I got back, then it became a routine. It became a bit I won't say addicted. Like it became like my standard routine. Like I will wake up like 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. to start training, because I believe in morning trainings. No distractions. I love it. I don't need to like reply emails, text message, take care of the son, talk to anyone. I can just focus on it. So it became like that for the next. The accident was 2011. Then 2012, I got married. So from then on, I started working out all the way until 2016, and I was okay. It was a routine. It was something I like to do. And then my wife was telling me, since you enjoy it so much, why don't you help people with it? I mean, she could see that I was really quite focused on my training to get myself better. So I
Mm.
thought, yeah, okay, good idea. So I tried. The first year, so I tried for the first year, and in 2017 until now. Lor. So
Mm.
it was a change. I definitely didn't expect to come to this path. I was always active, but I didn't expect to turn it into this. Yeah.
I know. So, I mean, we don't want to undermine your recovery within the 1 year. When you say long story short, like, oh, I
Mm.
recovered in 1 year, it's like people think like, okay, it's so easy, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it
hey,
was bad,
magic
man.
happen, like.
Yeah, it was
But
it was
no,
bad.
it involved I would say there's a lot of mental challenge going on,
Yes, it is.
right?
After the accident, uh, 2 weeks after that, the doctor told me that he wants to transfer me to a rehab hospital. I think it's Alexander Hospital. They are very focused on rehab. So he said he needs to send me there unless I can sit up and walk on my own, but with a brace and everything. So I was wearing a brace
Right.
with metal studs hanging out my head. It's holding me like a halo, so it keeps the back
Oh,
straight. Yeah. So I never I never got to sit up or walk during that time. So the time frame was 2 weeks. So I told myself, no, I'm not going back to that hospital. I'm not going there, man. So I got up finally, and I walked, and then my wife and my parents helped me. So it was then after I went home, but went home is still bad lah, because I was literally on that same brace for the next 8 months, nearly every day. We just take it out a bit when I'm lying down. So it was quite experience. Yeah.
right. Oh man, you must have scared the hell out of your parents and your this time is a girlfriend, right? Yeah, but then now it's your
Yeah,
wife.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Then after the incident,
Hmm.
your choice of activities or exercises shifted by a lot.
Not really. It didn't shift a lot. Actually, it stayed the same. As I said, I decided to build strength. I built strength quite a bit, but I soon realized that I had the strength covered, but I was very immobile, and that opened my journey to movement.
Right, right.
I decided to look at movement-based training where, other than just the standard body weight stuff like body weight calisthenic, where you do push up, pull up, that kind of thing, the army stuff lah. I decided to look into how I can understand my body better. So that's where I started to take on like animal flow, other movement work like gymnastica, natural from Brazil, yoga, things like that. And I slowly understood that balance between strength and mobility, things like
Mm.
that. Yeah, which is very important because too much of one will not be good for, in my opinion, too much of one will not be good for your fitness journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If you're looking at longevity in in the
Yes.
long run, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I know.
yeah, lor, it didn't change. I mean, it obviously changed quite a bit, but at the end of the day, it's just, for me, it's about trying to understand what are the limits of your body. If you understand that and don't follow like fitness trends or what, just listen to your own body.
Fitspo,
Huh?
Fitspo, hashtag Fitspo lah, hashtag fit, don't
Yeah.
know what.
There is a lot of fitness trend going on, but you just have to try it and try it within your means. That's what I think. And don't follow it too much, because if you follow it too much, and it doesn't fit you, it's just gonna have an adverse effect.
Mm. First got to know Bronson because last year I took Animal Flow Level 1 as well,
Oh,
circuit
nice.
breaker period, right? And then I'm like, hey, that's the first time they're doing their Level 1. That was the first time they were doing their Level 1 via Zoom.
Yes.
So
right.
I did the first one with Alicia.
Yeah.
With Alicia Smith, and then then I was just looking at stuff that they post out, and then they actually introduced you as the regional leader. I'm like, hey, this guy's from Singapore. Okay, then I went to check out his Instagram and stuff, or maybe check out what kind of classes, some of the classes that he has, or sessions that he might run that I can actually flow with. Then I actually found more of your Hokkien videos.
Oh yeah.
And hey, that actually got me more intrigued than the actual animal flow classes.
Yeah.
Then in the end,
Yeah.
I got attracted by his Hokkien classes videos, and then I start clicking. Wow, this guy's Hokkien is really quite good, no?
No lah, not really good like to compare.
He actually ran a whole session of video or instructional video for the I would say more for the older folks, right?
Yes.
More for
Right.
the elderlies, because it's in Hokkien. So he was
Yep.
running his instructional videos all the way in Hokkien. And then I was so amused, and I also started watching and learning in Hokkien.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I would say, is this how a lot of people get to know you now? From the Hokkien videos?
No, well, I think maybe yes. I think I was trying to reach out to the older crowd. I think that was during the first lockdown. Then I have feedback from my clients, because a big bulk of my clients is 50 and above currently, and obviously after the video came out, there's more. But before that, there's already a bulk of my clients who are 50, 40 and above lah. And I have quite a handful of 60 and above, 70 and above also. So when we were locked down, they are not very tech savvy, so they text me and tell me that they don't know how to use Zoom, so and their body is stiffening up. But one of the most important factor was, I think maybe last year, halfway into the lockdown, my grandma passed away, but of old age. We understood that it's a time to go. But I remember that when I visited her when she was alive, like every Sunday, I always go to her house, give her a rub down, make her feel good, talk to her, that kind of thing. So when she passed away, I just told myself that, if I can help as many elderly folks and senior folks as possible in the best way possible, yeah, that would be awesome. So I decided to help. I know a lot of senior and elderly folks are suffering quite a bit at home, because they might be active going for like Tai Chi or this, but now that time was a lockdown, so nobody could do anything and they didn't know what to do. Yeah, I know they are good at YouTube, so I decided to reach out to them through YouTube, and I use Instagram as a platform first, so that the younger generation can show it to their parents, and then the parents can show it to the older folks, and then some of them recorded it and showed to them. So that's how it all started lah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So awesome. So that was your key motivation, because I actually wanted to ask you, like, to do that, because that's not our primary language, right? But to really do a few videos in Hokkien, there must be some form of motivation that got you going to, want to, reach out to the elderly folks and give instructions in Hokkien for the entire video.
I speak Hokkien to my Arma a lot. When she was in a kampong at Changi Village, her kampong was there. So when I go there, I grew up there. I mean, me and my cousins, my mom's siblings. So my Arma is my mother's mom.
Your mother's mom, yeah.
Yeah, my mother's side lah. So when they spoke in Hokkien lah. So it's always been, I think Hokkien is a common language that everybody uses. Hokkien,
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very common, and I mean throughout the years also lah, I will use Hokkien to converse with some of my army friends, some of my Abing friends, some of my friends who are out, outside. So it's always been there lah, in a way. It's always, but obviously now the generation now might find it a bit tougher, because people don't speak that so much. But I think it makes people very happy when they hear it, because it's something that you hear maybe your parents or your grandparents speak, but you don't know. But when I thought about bringing it to the Instagram format, I didn't really speak pure Hokkien. My Hokkien isn't really like the pronunciation isn't good. Sometimes they get people telling me that this is wrong, this is pronounced wrong. But I do mix it with a lot of Singlish, a lot of things that people can relate to.
As long as the Amas can understand.
Yeah. So it was nice like that way.
Exactly. Because it's like Mandarin, right? Like we do speak Mandarin, but if you really go to China and you want to try and speak in business Mandarin, oh my god, that's a totally different ballgame. It's like
correct, yeah, correct.
So but then I get, but then in this manner also it's more 比较亲切.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Since we are now on the topic of Hokkien, right? And then and Bronson's done so many instructional videos on using Hokkien. We're going to do a little test run, Hokkien test run now, okay? And my Hokkien is not good. My mom, I'm more from Teochew.
Oh, Teochew Nam.
Yeah, Teochew Nam a bit, Hokkien, Teochew a little bit sama, but it's just still a bit different. But I mean, I wouldn't say I'm very good at it too. Like, sometimes, because although we were Teochew, but then when in our old place with the neighbors, most of them are Hokkiens. So even my mom's Teochew is all the Chamjing. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a Hokkien 101 test segment right now, just for some fun, and then see, just see how good his Hokkien is. Fast, chop. Okay, right. Disclaimer. Okay, he wasn't given any heads up on what I'm going to ask him. Okay, so the answers that he's giving now is on the spot.
Okay.
He has to use his brains now. Okay, so now you need to tell an Arma, you got to shift your hip backwards. What would you say to her?
We shift what? Shift
your hips backwards. And you're not going to the squat, right?
Shift your hips.
Shift your hips
Shift
backwards.
your hip backwards. The hip is.
So go low.
I mean, hip is Hokkien. I guess you can tell them it's butt or katung or.
Okay.
So you can say like, le katung chao ka abo dambo. So chao means like move. Abo means move back. So chao ka abo dambo. Then you just from there just help them try and move. Yeah, they will understand usually, because I think when you say things like that, simple terms there are complicated Hokkien. I mean, I have a Taiwanese friend, so when he teach me his side, it's a bit different.
So, maybe our Amas don't understand.
Yeah, but ours is the more like Singaporean style. So basically, you just say "kateng chao ka albert dambo" like that, lor. So move back, then when you get to the angle, just say, okay, it's like that.
Okay, good. Okay, Arma, kateng chao ka albert dambo.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so the other one is, all right, stay upright, chest up.
Oh, chest up. Chest up. Chest up. Usually for chest up, I always use Chinese. I'll just say ting xiong. But if you want to say chest up, you can put it the other way, as in Hokkien, the backbone is called ba jia. So you can tell them le ba jia bang tit, ba jia bang tit sambo. Then gui lang ze kat tit dambo. So just like that. When you say it's more ba jia than the front. Ba jia is
Yes.
basically the
Okay,
spine,
okay,
yeah.
get it. So getting them to focus on the, straightening up the spinal column
Yes.
instead
Yes,
of
yes.
like, chest up.
Yeah, correct.
See, really understanding the old folks. Okay, the other one. Okay, who see, or just tell them who see. Is it breathe in, breathe out?
Who see lo? It's nothing. Because it's a common language. Yeah,
okay.
it's a common language. Who see, yeah lo, see chi, who chi, like that lo.
All right. So then when you get them to do some balance work, right? So how about now we try to balance on your left leg.
Balance on the left leg. So balance on the left leg means 架卡放气，架卡举起来. Usually I'll mix a bit of Chinese and Hokkien. So 架卡 is right leg. So if you lift up your right leg, you're balancing on the left leg.
Then okay,
yeah.
right.
When you
So
say that, then
focusing on the right, tell them to leave, then they automatically have to balance on the left.
Yeah, something like that. It's not a pure Hokkien most of the time. I do have clients that I speak Hokkien to on a regular basis to help them. So when I speak like that, I mix a bit of English, things like that they can understand. So it's not like pure Hokkien. Hokkien.
No, especially if your clients are the more atas amas and
No, not really atas. Some of them are really cool. Like sometimes
like
I help
they
them.
know a bit of English and then
Yeah. Correct.
Okay, last one. Okay, Amma, you got to brace your core now.
Brace core. Usually I would say 肋巴到 kick 掉，肋巴到就要 kick。Then simple 咯，叫巴到 kick or like if I use a bit of Chinese is 腹部要憋住 then that's it or they would most likely know. If they don't understand, I'll just say that I'll just tell them that pretend I'm gonna punch your stomach. Like pretend wobble hood leg stomach, then like the kick then they will understand that. Yeah.
Kick is it's awesome, right? Kick. Now kick a bit.
Yeah.
Kick is such everybody understands kick in Singapore. But
Yes,
sometimes
correct.
I work with expat or I work with expat mummies or whatever. Then you tell them bracing core is a bit like, then I always want to say, like, almost want to say kick, but yeah, they don't understand what is kick. But once you say kick, we understand, right?
Yeah, correct.
So cute. Okay, yay! He passed his Hokkien 101 segment with flying colors.
Well, when I say I don't have no routine, doesn't mean I don't train. It's just I think a lot of fitness trainers have this also, do this also. Once they reach a certain stage where they know what are the deficiencies that they have and they can work towards it and plan it out. So you don't have a routine doesn't mean we don't train. Like at least for my case, when I don't have a routine, so when I have any pockets of time, I'll work on things that help me. I do have my own training program, but my training program isn't really fixed. It's just things I need to accomplish this certain month or this certain week. Most of the time it's week. So in a week, I would go to a spreadsheet. I have a spreadsheet that says movement, mobility, strength, functional work, core, that kind of thing. So I will look at that spreadsheet and see what have I done for that week or what have I done for that month and what is lacking. So I'll just increase the one that's lacking to have a more, like I said, complete overall fitness picture. So in the past, in the past it was rigid. In the past it was a lot of strength. Talking about barbell work like squat, bench, and deadlift, that kind of thing. But now, I mean, with my son around and also my work, it doesn't give me that much flexibility. So I have to be flexible and agile, like move around all these different training methods and make it work for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Because we just simply don't have the luxury of time anymore to allocate like, wow, one chunk of 2 hours gym time, one chunk of
Yeah, we
Like
don't have it.
times up, need to go and fetch him already, or like times up, need to get I don't know, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So many things that revolves around our life and not just working out,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Exactly. So personally for me as well, especially after number 3, oh my god. Working out means like, actually honestly, like if I can slot in 30 minutes of movement, like accomplish whatever I want to do, then I'm very happy already.
Yeah, agree with you.
Yeah. And sometimes I just don't get to do your, I don't know, like 20, how many heavy 80% load. Impossible.
Yeah,
So
right.
so I guess as we move on to different stages of our lives, our focus and how we want to adjust movement and prioritize what is health will change and evolve as well.
Yeah, correct.
You still remember the days when he was a newborn?
Yes, of course. Definitely like
Yeah,
yesterday.
because
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, right, postnatal blues or depression is real and happens to many new moms.
Yeah.
I mean, for one thing, I know personally, I was different for both times that I was pregnant. I mean, first one was with twins, and then the second one was recently. So both times I know I was different, right? So did your wife go through a difficult time emotionally? Then how did both of you manage and overcome it?
Yeah, actually we're a bit stressful, it's just like I think mainly for women you always think that you're not good enough. You're not a good enough mom, and then you start to get stressed up, like not enough breastfeeding milk, or whether the child is, that's a normal mom thing lah. So from a father's husband's perspective, to just try and be there as much as I can. There are obviously still some differences, it's not smooth sailing, but it's, you just got to go through it stage by stage and in the moment to try and solve it lah. And then after that, if there's time to sit down and talk about it, then we talk about it. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a very common stress that my wife been through, and also I've been through that also. So we just try and work together the best that we can, and then try and understand from each other's point of view lah. Yeah.
Oh, but it's not easy to try and talk to your wife during the postnatal period, no?
Yeah, it is challenging. Anyway, postnatal, no postnatal. I think in a relationship, half the time, whatever we presume of the other party is wrong. So, so I think the only way is to sit down, iron it out, and that's what we always been constantly doing. Doesn't mean you iron out it's still gonna be good. Bed of roses is not. Most of the time, there's
Yes.
still a lot of things to sort out, but at least it's spoken. The emotions are there so that you can, if you come back to it, it's already happened. So find a way to solve it, lah. Yeah. As experience that for towards a kid is to not always say no. I think a lot of parents, not just dad, do that, but I mean, obviously, dad, we want to portray a more stable, like more. I mean, every man has their own ego, lah. Including whether you are a gentle guy or like you are a more intense guy in general. Everybody has ego, especially men. So sometimes we tend to use our ego and try and overpower the kid. So don't always say no. Let him figure out. So things like I let my son figure out what is hot water one time. Sometimes he, like in the past, like when I have a beer or wine on the table, and whenever you say cannot drink, they will always try and
You will
find a
want
way
to
to.
do it,
Yeah.
yes.
So so I either put it very far away from him, or sometimes just let him experience it lah. So one thing is like a hot water issue. I told him, like we'll tell him don't touch it, it's hot water, but he's curious ma. So the curiosity is actually curiosity, not being irritating or annoying. So just let him try. So he touched it, that's hot. So he said that's hot lah. So at least now you know.
Okay,
And
at least he touch it under your guidance,
yeah,
Then
correct. Yeah.
otherwise we get the brunt of it as well. Alamak, get scalded, now it's my problem again.
Yeah. And the second one is learn to stop and listen to to their thoughts, and not same thing as a father. Try not to overpower them. I do that, in the past. I try my best not to, because I think from a father's point of view is we are just trying to show them through our own experience what we have learned. But sometimes it doesn't matter to them. They want their own experience. So, like I said, back to the hot water thing. Okay, lah, you touch her, you
Mm,
touch
mm,
her.
mm,
You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm,
Obviously, we try and stand aside and let him figure it out. So, at least he knows that is after that experience, he learned from it. Yeah.
mm,
And then the last one, okay, I found it. So every child is uniquely their own. So I think a lot of fathers, including myself, we are pressured to go through the social norm sometimes. So just maybe let your child find their own identity. It sounds very contradicting, but I believe in letting my son be the best at being normal. Just do normal things. You know how some fathers will, wow, or some parents will blink out their child head to toe, give them the best, everything. I believe I obviously it's unconditional love, but I feel that if I can show at least my child how to be really good being normal, he'll be inspired to be awesome next time. Like he will be inspired to take it up a notch. But if you
mm.
show them awesomeness, then when you go back to normality, sometimes no choice, then you'll be like, wow, what is this? I don't like this, man. This is like a downgrade. You know what I mean? Um, so I believe like simple things like I still bring him for like, uh, I still make his hands dirty. Sometimes we do some gardening, digging, get his hands dirty. I don't tell him that like we don't hire someone to do it. Ask him to wash it. Ask him to clean the dishes, bring the dishes to the
Mm,
sink. He might not
mm,
like it sometimes, but now it's become a norm.
mm,
Bring him to eat, bring him to like places that sometimes when you bring him to some places and he experiences it, it opens up his eye and makes him
mm.
realize how fortunate he is in
Yeah,
some ways.
yeah. Otherwise,
Yeah.
they're always very,
So
want to go to some fancy cafes or makan
yeah,
places,
yeah, 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 yeah.
aircon.
Yeah. So sometimes I would bring him to like the hawker center to like to from young I always do that. I always bring him to my old place, which is nearby also some hawker center, and grew up, bring him there and let me experience the food there. And then
Mm,
of course obviously we do cafes and stuff, but at least he knows that cafes is not the norm. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not
yeah,
like you need to spend like $50 to eat a bowl of pasta or what.
yeah,
So he still knows that there's $2 chicken rice around,
yeah.
things like that. Yeah. So just let them be uniquely their own and discover things themselves instead of. I think one of the mistakes I made sometimes is I overpower my experiences to him and force him to experience what I experience. It may not be the right thing to do. It may be right, but it may not be right because everybody is different. So
Mm,
he might not look at it that way. Yeah.
mm, mm, mm.
A lot of fathers have problem with that. It's tough, to it's tough for a father and a husband to work, maybe in office work, you know, not the lockdown now, but maybe you go outside last time, you go out work, then you come back, you're really tired and stressed from work, but yet you have to know not to put it out to your wife, to your family. Lah. It's tough
Mm.
because I do that last time. I'm guilty of that. So I'm still trying to balance out sometimes. Like I really enjoy my work. Sometimes I enjoy my work until I get a bit overboard and then it's not good. When I come home, I'm still have that work mentality home.
Right.
So you have to find that balance. Balance is important.
Yeah. So I guess for you as well, it's a journey from day one when he was born till now. You have evolved as well as to how you decide to parent or be a dad.
Yeah, definitely. It makes it's definitely progression. Still work in progress, but is hopefully you'll get to a point where we can come to a common understanding or as common as we can, somewhere in the middle.
Right, right.
Patience is very important. Having kids, they test your patience, and then after that, it tests your patience even more if the other half
Mm-hmm.
say something that might trigger you a bit. I think it's very normal in every household. But I think patience is important to learn to let go. And I think maybe it has to start from yourself first. So like whether you are the wife or the husband, if you can start within yourself to be patient with yourself and people around you, then you will learn how to be patient with in events or situations. Like
Mm.
last time I was a very impatient person. Maybe I still am, but I've learned to control
Yes.
myself in terms of looking at be more calm lah. You know what I mean? And obviously in all relationship communication is key. Because like I said just now, I feel like everybody's perspective, your perspective of someone or someone's reaction or behavior or speech is always 90% wrong. It's 90%, 90% wrong. Like we always hear the front or the front few sentences and then we start filling our own cup and then we want to speak again. So
Yeah.
sometimes you just sit down and listen and soak it in. Maybe don't even have to give an answer on that day. I think that's good. So I feel that that is something I need to work on also as a husband. And I
Mm.
think last one is most important. Uh, I do, I try and do that. I also, my wife and I try and do that. It's really tough. It's to never put our kids in front of us. It's
Mm.
always us. Yeah. So it's tough. It's tough, especially, I mean, sometimes for me and sometimes for my wife, because we really want to kind of practice unconditional love, the kind of love that only parents will give to their kids. But if there was no us, no couple, there won't be a kid.
Yeah.
So I think it's very important that they put. I think a husband and a wife can put themselves before the kids. So if there's some, I think maybe if that foundation is solid, then the kids will follow.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
like if you see, I think maybe if you go back a bit more primal, if you look at the Amazonian tribe never let the kids lead.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
they want to
Yeah.
shift from place to place or when they're hunting or whatever, the person that leads are always the adult, the mother, the father. When they move as a tribe, the tribe head always in front and the rest follow. But now it seems like in this culture where everything, there is no sense of danger anymore. Everything is just within a phone reach. Just click, you can buy a whole lot of truck full
Yeah.
of grocery. You can get anything from around the world. Things
Yeah.
become very lazy, and you can see like parents start letting the kids lead, and just trying to helicopter them all the way. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at lah, needs to be thought about, because if you let your kids lead and you just you just follow them uh, blindly, right? Then I don't think it's a good thing.
It is, right? I mean, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, that's
I agree.
good.
You must have seen enough examples as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen it, but sometimes I'm also like that, to be honest. But I try my best not to allow that to happen. Yeah.
This is the easiest, right? And especially if they want to, do certain things and all that, and then you have no time to uh supervise or whatever. Sometimes I just no.
Yeah.
But actually, the proper way is to you go with them, you do it together, and you show them how to do it or do certain things
Yes.
properly.
Yes.
Yeah, but it
Correct.
takes time, and that's why I think in recent years, especially, I had my twins in 2010. So since
Mm.
2010, it's sad to say that, but I do see a lot of lazy parenting going on, especially out in restaurants.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, like we sit down, like we see the next table is people, like these parents sit down, and before anything happens, they already whip out the iPad and put it in front of the kid.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
you haven't even given him the chance to make noise or to complain or to I don't know, mess around with things first before they
Yes.
get no chance to
I
even be bored yet.
yes. I used to judge people like that also. But then when it happened to myself, I think sometimes, like I say, everybody is different. Like I do let my son watch a show when he's outside in a
Mm.
cafe, but that's just about the only time he watches show daily. So sometimes
Ah,
when
okay,
you
okay.
get when you
He gets his
some
dosage there.
yeah,
Mm.
sometimes when you see and you I mean it's very normal for us, for someone who doesn't know the situation, to judge. And there are times where I remember one time I went to a cafe. I think I was meeting someone, not with my family, and I saw this mom. She let the child watch the show for the 2 hours she was there, and then she would let the child watch the show. The child was hysterical, on the show, still hysterical, but okay. But you can see some distress in her eyes. She doesn't look like a normal, like she's not in a normal state. So
Mm.
sometimes when people judge, like, oh, this is a bad mom, let her watch. Maybe she's going through some kind of thing herself. So I think it's easy for you people to judge, but sometimes people have some backstory behind it because she
It
doesn't.
is, it is, it
I
is.
remember she
So yeah.
doesn't. Yeah, she definitely. It looks like something happened to her, and she's just trying to soak in and just stoning out. So she just on it. So sometimes we judge, right? But obviously there are parents that whole day iPad lah, which is it's
It's
their
also their
choice lah.
choice.
It's
Yeah,
their choice,
yeah, yeah.
but you just gotta try and spend more time talking. I'm guilty of that too because my work evolves around my phone and I'm sort of like a one man show, so I don't have a staff behind me. I work everything on my own. So on around I work pretty long and I have to reply texts and all the time. It's always I feel that in terms of my work, I always try and be as professional as I can to reply people right away and not leave them hanging. So when that happens, when I do like group classes, I need to contact them individually. So sometimes I'm guilty of that. So I learned how to separate that time out. My wife also sound off me quite a few times, so I'm just working on that too. So also a work in progress.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, then over the years, also I've learned more about kids with special needs and understand about that. So yeah, sometimes really you cannot really it's hard like to I don't know judge make judgments at what we see, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, over the years I've learned that too as well, and yeah, learn to really hold judgment.
yeah, great.
And I'm also a supporter of a TV nanny at home,
Oh.
especially on HBL days. Right? that's a that's the best 2 hours I need to cook. Okay, on the tea. Okay, you'll be entertained by this cartoon.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, whatever works for you, that's the most important thing. Like,
Mm,
we easily get affected by maybe other parents or what you see, what you hear, like peer pressure lah.
mm.
It gets to everyone lah, including us. It got to us also, but we try our best to stay clear of it now and just make sure that as long as you know what you're doing and you know
Mm.
that it's justified, there's nothing wrong to it. So when we go outside, we do get eyes sometimes, like maybe people judge us as putting on the phone for him to watch a show, but they don't know what show he's watching because half the time we only let him watch animal documentaries.
Yeah, yeah.
So things like that, and not just some standard cartoon show that is pretty mindless. So at least he's watching something that is educational in a
Educational.
way. Yeah.
Mm,
So when he goes
mm,
back, and that's just about his TV time. His
mm.
TV time is an hour daily. That's it. There's nothing more to that. Yeah.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traditionally taken the role of like breadwinner in the family. They undertake like the more masculine role, work hard, focus a lot on work, and then not much involvement with kids at home.
Yep.
But then these days we do see a lot of men doing things differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're starting to get a bit more hands-on and involved with raising their kids. I mean, of course, yourself as well. So I'm interested to know, I mean, from your perspective, and as a coach, and then you have coached many other men as well. How easy or, difficult is it for men to assume such identities these days?
Uh, it's challenging, of course. I wouldn't say it's not challenging. It's challenging because, like I said, you go out and work. You might not be the sole breadwinner in the family, but you definitely have to work and make sure you are the sole breadwinner if anything goes wrong. That's usually the mentality of all men. Because I mean, obviously there are some men who don't care, lah. but for me, at least that's how I'm brought up and the traditional way. Uh, so it's definitely challenging when you put in the work and then you come back. You still have to. I think the challenging part is to learn how to switch off one department and switch on the other one, which is switch
Mm,
off being a man working and providing for the family, and then switch on to not just one department when you come home, but a few different departments. How to be a good son, how to be a good husband, how to be a good father. So it's pretty tough because, one thing I realized is as we grow older, social connection is one of the most sensitive and tricky issues. Connection with your in-law, connection between your wife and your parents, connection between your wife and your friends. And although your circle of friends might kind of become lesser and lesser because you have closer friends now,
Yeah.
but it's still tough because you have to take care of the social circle, that part. So when you come home, I think there's a lot more department than just taking care of work. But yeah, work is also important. Cannot not work.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the challenging part, lah. To be able to switch off and turn on to become a dad, to become a husband. I'm guilty of that quite often. Sometimes I come back a bit tired. I won't say it was a bad day. I don't hate my boss. I got no boss. But the thing is, when you come back physically tired, because my work involves like really early morning to like evening, where I'm full on physically demanding demonstrations, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
even warm ups, new show. So it's like conducting a yoga class for non-stop for like 10 hours. And then when I come
Yes.
back, sometimes I just want to relax, but I failed to switch that off. And maybe my wife say, for the date night tonight, want to go cycling. I don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So I have to switch it off and do that. Or if my son say, let's go out and play, let's go out. And maybe I'm tired. I don't want to do that. So I think that's one aspect. Maybe I'm just still trying to be okay with it.
Mm.
Then yeah lah, I think that's most of the point. Like just try and know how to differentiate different roles at different point of time in what setting you are in. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. I mean, it's challenging as well. I mean, even for working moms, the need to switch around, I guess it's the same.
Mm-hmm.
Same challenge. Then, but for men, there's an added challenge because of the traditional view,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's given the added stress, like whether you wanna see it or not, but it's there.
Yes. Correct.
Can we women or wives do to support men, assuming a more involved role in raising the kids, or to be more hands-on?
Put the kids in front of us. Put the kids behind us. Put us in front of the kids. I think that's
Correct.
what a lot of moms will do. Once the once the kid is born, whether how many kids, the father just become a chauffeur, buy some scratch here and there, then do this, do that, which we don't mind. Actually, I think we don't mind at all. But I think if you go a bit deeper than that, it's about showing appreciation in some ways instead of, what I mean, like just treat. You can tell the difference lah, in a way. I think
Mm.
for most of us, because when I speak to my friends, it's usually the same thing. Sometimes when the mother or the wife is too engrossed in unconditional love to the kids, they forget about the other half. You know what I mean? And it's just about listening and communicating lah, in this
Mm.
aspect, getting to know each other a bit more.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes boys will be boys. So you gotta let boys be boys sometimes. We all
Like
men,
another big kid in the house.
yeah. Sometimes when we men do silly stuff with our kids, I think it is one way for the kids to know that this is fun. That daddy is
Mm.
always about playing and also
Mm.
discipline. But when we play, we play. When we
Mm.
discipline, we discipline. And some mothers would, I mean, my wife did it last time. We had a talk, and it's a bit better. Like, yeah, I'll do silly things with him. Take the hose, spray the whole house wet, spray him wet. So, for example, when we take the hose and play in the garden hose the first time, she would say, wow, why make him wet? He's going to be late. He's going to be sick, that kind of thing. But sometimes, but I understand her point of view. She's just concerned about his health. But boys will be boys sometimes. We do silly stuff. And
Yeah,
boys
yeah,
usually do a lot of silly stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so you got to just sometimes let
Let
the
loose.
I let the husband just be
True.
boys. But I'm obviously not saying like do uh silly
As long
things
as
or
you don't put don't do dangerous things,
yes,
which
yes,
most
yes,
dads won't anyway.
yeah. And
Most
then
of the time is play.
yeah, and then I think one last one is to basically some I think let them sort of like put their I mean let the husband sort of like put their hair down sometimes and just go out and with their friends for drinks, for coffee, for like all boys football day, that kind of thing.
Daddy's night out.
Yeah, that is not the I mean not the funky business thing, but like the proper stuff like go out. I enjoy going out with my friends to just let loose because same for my wife.
Mm.
Sometimes when I go out with friends and those friends are a group of friends that don't have are not fathers, it's very relaxing. It brings you the different perspective. It makes you remember your dreams and your goals
Yes.
and how you can work towards it. But sometimes, okay, obviously, when I meet dads, friends that are dads themselves, you share problems or you just basically whine and complain about the wives all together. But it feels good to see there's an outlet. And same for
Yeah,
my
yeah,
wife also.
yeah,
Because
same.
like when my wife go and meet her friends, and she used to be in the retail industry, so when she meet her friends who are mostly like not married, still out there working, it gives her a different perspective. And
It is.
it also makes you realize how much you have grown. Because
Mm,
maybe you have moved up a few levels, but some of your friends are still like in that same level. Not that it's a
mm,
bad thing, but it's just the work, the nature of their work, or they're not
mm.
married. They won't understand what is it like to have a kid. There are things
Yes,
like
yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Usually
Yeah,
the non-dad friends, I'm always the latest lah, because I need to put the son
to
down
bed.
to help
Mm.
the wife lah. So I'm always the latest. But then the all dads one, right, will all be very late. Either very late or
All
very
have to.
early. So it's
Yeah.
it's the same lah. It's the same. I think when the ladies meet up, it's always the same. So when you do like basically just let the husband like do their thing.
Mm. Same
Yeah.
lah, like so there you have like your wife will have her girls' night out on
Yeah.
certain weeks, and then certain weeks will be your turn to be out for your boys' night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we take turns. I think these are little opportunities to recharge ourselves as well.
Yeah.
Right. Otherwise,
Definitely.
day to day, the routine is gonna be like exactly the same. Same
Yeah.
duty, same routine, same I don't know, stuff on our shoulders.
Yeah.
If you were the Minister of Education,
Hmm.
there's no limit, you have all the resources. Is there anything you would change or implement in Singapore?
Not in terms of education as in studying wise, no. I think it's good.
Mm,
I know a lot of parents complain, yes, it's stressful, but I think this stress is a good stress. Because when this child goes to an age where maybe like a JC age or university age, they know that this stress has been handled before. It's not a problem for them. They can
mm,
just switch it on anytime it's there.
yeah.
I know a lot of parents complain like, oh, too much homework. I agree there's too much homework. Sometimes there's too much spelling, things here, whatever. But it actually amps them up to a point where they know how to switch on in the later stage of their life.
Mm,
Whereas if you send a kid to overseas to study, for example, in other countries lah, typically Australia or the States, uh, there's not a lot of Bill Gates around, man. Bill Gates is one in a million,
yeah.
and he made it big. Yeah, what that's good for him. But mostly there, if you do not have the discipline to switch on, you will just switch off and in fact go to a very windy route of drugs, partying. But I've seen some few cases of my close friend before. I also seen some close friends who been through the proper channel and after JC, for example, they know how to switch it on. When they go overseas and study, right, they can party all they want, but it's time to switch on, they will know how
They
to switch
switch
on.
on. Yes. So they play hard, but then they know when to study hard as well.
Yeah. So I think that's very important. I guess maybe one thing I would want to change is educating the at least for the secondary school and the primary school a bit on how to move better, how to understand their body in a way that and get them to understand postural movement behavior, how to if you want to do the PE class where you want to teach the kids how to sprint or throw something or to do it right first before letting them go. I know it's tough in a big group setting, but if that knowledge is implanted in them, right, we're going to produce a lot more like in terms of sports, we'll produce more better sportsmen because I think sadly a lot of sportsmen in Singapore, when you see their running mechanics, the way they move, there is a lot of correction to be done. Maybe
Yeah.
they won't shed the right way of how to run. Like when I play basketball, when I look at my videos of myself last time when I played basketball,
And you're like, oh my God, what was I
Yeah,
doing?
the running mechanics is all wrong, things like that, and just let them understand that part of the body better. But in terms of academic wise, I don't think we need to change anything. I know now there's no exams and stuff until primary three, right? Primary three or primary four.
Yeah, for yours, yeah, a bit later.
Yeah, but is I think it's okay. I don't have anything to change actually. Just maybe just this physical aspect, physical education. I
Mm,
think that's important. Yeah.
mm.